Hello and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. This is part 2 to the cultiest Optavia training call that I have ever witnessed. You don't necessarily have to watch part 1 to understand what's going on here if you don't want to. I will make sure that it is also linked in the description so that if you decide to watch it after the fact, you have ease of access. And with all of that said, let's get into part 2. Here we go.
Really, we're entering in now, the last couple of years of, people can look back at the COVID season and blame a lot. I don't blame anything. I take personal responsibility for my faults and my failures. But if anything that this world did become during the last season, extremely smart, extremely quick to judge. And we're now no longer in a season, my fellow coaches, in a season where you can get away with telling people what to do or flashing the same before and after photo that we've been showing for the last 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 years, or we try to show a different angle of us because we found a really ugly old picture and we happen to catch a really cute picture where we're flexing and we're just perfect at the beach and the angles look all right, to try to convince our audience that we are a health coach. But then I've asked some of you why you won't wear merch publicly. Why don't you wear the I am a health coach shirt? It's because many of you keep it in the back of your closet because you don't feel congruent. Because you're like, you can't even see that I am, where it's health, there's a role. And
God, this is so culty. Like, you should be wearing your shirt. Wear your shirt.
It just is what it is. And I know this might be a little direct, but I want to challenge you because it's something that I just did. The last 4 months, I dedicated my entire life to leveling up myself. And I can't tell you the amount of relationships, can't tell you the amount of conversations that have come in, can't tell you the amount of fit people. I had a pro golfer the other day ask me how to build muscle. He goes, "You're freaking chiseled." And I'm like, "Well, that's not going to be chiseled." See, I still don't see myself that way. Okay, that's a fat mind still speaking. He goes, "You're chiseled. I need to put on muscle. How do I put on muscle?" I had somebody seeking wisdom from me because I look like a coach now, and I haven't. And so I share that with you that we've got a small window, which if you're not registered for convention, you're going to want to get registered for the convention ASAP. There will be direct benefits that coaches that were at this convention and that those that were not. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you that. And then number 2 is you're going to see a separation season. It's like being faithful with what we've been given before asking for more. For the last 43 years that Optavia has been around with the same feelings, we've had these feelings and we've had access to them and we've known about them. And we've used them and they've gotten us a certain so far, but there's a tool like the 5-in-1 that we have in our back pocket. And any coach that doesn't really, and I don't know how else to say this other than submit to full congruency of finishing the job that you originally said you wanted, this is your summer to finish the job. Regardless of where you're traveling to, regardless of what vacation you might have, regardless of what graduation is coming up, this is your summer to say no to what you want now and yes to being a congruent coach. If you want to do this full time, there's going to be massive advantages to doing this because Optavia right now is preparing tools for you to, well, I'm just going to say this, and Pat, Karen, Megan, they might not like me saying this, or Tiffany, but they're preparing tools for me right now. People that are at a healthy weight that are going to blow their business up because now we're going to have tools that we're going to look like what we can promote. You see what I'm saying? It's hard to promote something when you haven't even been faithful with the 5-in-1. So it's like, how can you provide these new tools when the current tools that you've had full access to, you've just avoided and kind of been on and off, on and off, on and off. So what I'm saying is everybody's on an equal playing field right now. You're going to see a big separation here in about 90 to 120 days. Big separation in our company. But right now, nobody has access to these new tools right now. What you do have access to is knowledge. What we have liberty to tell you, new things are coming, and you have 90 days to get yourself to the healthiest place possible. Because the moment these tools launch, the people that are at a healthy weight, which are going to look like it's very clear it's time to use the tools, you will be at the fastest advantage. I love Megan, our business. It's like, people are like, "Oh man, I wish I would have got in 14 years ago when you did, Doug." No, you don't.
He's telling people that you have 90 days to lose your weight, lose any extra weight that you have, and be successful in the 5-in-1 plan. Now, if you're not familiar with the 5-in-1 plan, this is where you eat 5 of their fuelings, what they're called, their prepackaged garbage food, and 1 lean and green meal, which contains like chicken breast and steamed broccoli. I always use the same example, but that's typically what it is. Super bland, super boring. And these fuelings that they push on people have around 100 to 150 calories per fueling. So essentially, you are starving your body of the nutrients it needs to lose the weight and look a certain way so you can get clients. And that is absolutely disgusting. That is not, if you are somebody who is looking to get healthy, please do not work with somebody based on those things. You have to look at their certifications, their licensures, their schooling, their testimonials, making sure that they're actual legitimate testimonials and not like team members. MLMs require no education, and this is saying that loud and clear because he's promoting you going on this 5-in-1 crash diet plan for 90 days before all of this new stuff comes out so that you can get all of the clients and coaches on your team. And that's absolute, there's no words.
Wish that. Okay, you don't wish that because each and every person our comp plan is set up that anyone that starts today has the same advantage of me. You go I went and created, my business, and you can do that too. Which is why we're actually not an MLM. Okay, but there is going to be advantages to anybody who starts this fall at a healthy weight. There's going to be I'm talking night and day differences. It's going to be I see when the new tools came out, you already had a healthy weight. Now, anybody else on the 5-in-1, great. They've got advantage because they're bringing in their new circle with them. Okay. But if you've kind of been coaching a while and you've been 5-in-1-ishing, okay, and your story's kind of getting old and you find yourself manipulating photos and to try to, I'm going to make that one look far away. If that's the season you're in.
Did he just admit that he manipulates photos, I wonder? How does he know that people are doing that if he's not doing it? Or if he doesn't teach his team to do it? Is that something we teach our team to do in Optavia?
And you've got 90 days to say enough is enough, because that is everyone who didn't quite hit FIBC, that is your fast pass to FIBC probably by September, October, is completely falling in love and full congruency and dedicating summer of 2023. I'm going to get Bruno Mars to sing an Optavia song. It was the summer of 2023. He's going to sing, there's going to be a song about this summer for Optavians because that's how much of
Optavians. Wow. It's just so many cult tactics in this one call.
Just a differentiator it's going to be. So I'm excited tonight. I'm passionate. I'm fired up. I've been out, I've been fueling and eating right today. I've been drinking lots of water. I'm feeling good. I haven't been compromising my brownie. I haven't been nibbling on stuff. So I'm feeling really, really good tonight. And I just want to invite you guys into this process for a full commitment. I mean, I keep this up here, health goals, zero compromise. I have to see it every day of where I'm going. Well, I invite you 90 days of no compromise. It's going to be the cool thing to do. When you go to convention this year, you're going to be the weird one if you're not dedicated to a program. You're actually going to be weirder if you're drinking alcohol there. That's how much the company is shifting the culture to where health is going to be knuckle bump. It's ooh, and you know what? Call it a little bit of shame. You're going to be oh, he's eating a chicken wing. He's got a beer in his hand. Yeah. Interesting choices for this season. And that's the type of where we're headed as a company. So I'm fired up. Tiffany, I know you're fired up. You're always fired up. So I'm going to toss it out to you. Thanks for having me on, Megan.
Oh my gosh, Doug, that was so good, so good. And I love getting to follow Doug. Some people don't like following amazing people. I happen to love it because I'm over here yes. So stinking good. In honor of Doug and in honor of us all leveling up our health, this may be a wine glass, but this actually has my aminos in it. Yes, I am working on my health, but I had to make it super fancy for all of you. So this is aminos. No wine or beer in here, Doug. No. My goals are too important.
You can have a glass of wine if you're trying to get healthy. There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm so excited to just get to share for a couple of minutes. Again, congratulations to all of you who are FIBIC. I mean, such an incredible accomplishment. But I want to speak to those of you who may be watching this and maybe you are still on your journey. But if you are a FIBIC, still listen up because I have some things I hope will help you. But if you're not yet FIBIC, first, you may be on this and you're celebrating. Everybody's in a different place, right? You may be celebrating those people, but maybe you're on here going, oh, but I didn't hit FIBIC. Can I tell you that is okay?
FIBIC. I'm sorry.
I know that you have these big goals and maybe you're going, oh, if I could have just reached it as fast as they could. But I want to encourage you guys, this is such a marathon. This is not a short sprint, and people hit at different times. But this is what I want to encourage you in, because for somebody, they may do certain things quicker than you. But here's what I know: you are learning so much as you continue on this journey. You know, I think through, I was sharing with a friend the other day, we were talking about life, and life is hard, y'all. Can I just tell you that? Some people are like, oh, if I had so-and-so's life, if I had so-and-so's life. No, you look at these people who have great lives, but you have no idea the hard that they walk through. See, life is a series of hard, then harder, and then you maybe a little joy, and then you hit a hard again, and it just continues. So for those people who maybe they've ranked up to Civic a little faster than you, they may have had a lot more hard on the other side that they continue to have grit and persevere through, which when they got to this point in their life, maybe they moved through to Civic just a little bit faster because they've already had to persevere and they learned grit. And so maybe in this season, maybe they move through a little quicker. But can I tell you that when you take a little bit longer to get wherever you got, some of these Civics, man, we don't know, we might have taken them 2 years to get there, 3 years to get there. They just happened to do it in the middle of this incredible mastermind. So don't judge yourself. Don't compare that, oh, I didn't do it, so I quit. Y'all, I've seen people hit Civics years later after staying at ED. And you know what I know? They are so incredibly thankful. But as you are growing to Civic, or maybe you're already Civic, can I just tell you on here, I just want to be the burster of the bubble. I wish I shouldn't. Maybe I should, but I need to, because I've done this journey. It's going to get hard again, y'all. This is just the beginning. But as you continue, whether you're going now to global or maybe you're still working to Civic, you are learning so much. And I want to share this with you. It's kind of like this. Maybe some of you look at us or Dan and Megan or Pat and Karen or some of these Civics on here and you're like, gosh, they hit it so fast. First of all, we've been here, Pat and Karen, we've been doing this almost the same length of time. We're almost at 8 years. Can y'all believe it? And here's what I want you to know, y'all. Time flies. It flies. I feel like yesterday, I was like that fat girl. Y'all go look at my Facebook or my Instagram, my social media. I know I shouldn't say fat. I get in trouble. Dan's not on here to protect me because he always like helps me when people get mad at me. I was 317 pounds, y'all. You can go look at my Instagram and see 20 years ago. Y'all,
Talk about fat phobia. Like, I was that fat girl.
this is what I want you to get. 20 years ago this month, I took a picture on my honeymoon, and we shared that because last weekend actually went back to that same location for my daughter's cheer. And we were walking down the San Antonio River Walk, and I told Amy, I said, oh my gosh, I took a picture right here on our honeymoon that I had used for my before picture. And we redid that picture. And 20 years later, and here's what I want you to know. It wasn't just the way I looked. I thought back to my life. And that 20 years flew by. I mean, flew by, y'all. But you know what? It was worth all the hard that I had to live through. And it's kind of like my fitness journey. Some of you may be thinking, oh, Tiffany hit, IPD fast, or Pat and Karen, or whoever, we hit it fast. But here's what I want you to know. Now I'm over here on my fitness journey. And you know what I keep doing? See, when I was going through Optavia and trying to work my way through Civic and all the things, I really didn't compare too much. I really didn't. I was just head down. I was going at it. But in my fitness journey, y'all, I worked my tail off. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. But you know what? I have, because I screwed up my body, literally 18 years ago, I had a gastric bypass. I struggle to absorb things. Okay, this is what I want you to understand. This is what's happening to you. I struggle, and it's hard. And I work my butt off for an hour and a half minimum every single day. And I do the aminos, I do the protein. But you know what? My results may not be coming as fast as like Doug and Tia, who are like the Greek goddesses, right? And Greek god right now. But you know what? Do you know how much I have learned going through this journey? I know everything there is to know about macros and BCAAs and all the different types of workouts and when to eat, what to eat, all these things. I had to learn that because it didn't come easy to me. So now I can turn around and help people who are struggling. But if it would have came easy to me when someone else was struggling, I would just be like, I don't know, go find someone who can help you. So those of you, maybe it's taking a little bit longer to get where you want to go. You are learning things that people who maybe hit it quick didn't know. I have seen people hit ranks, but they didn't grow into it. So they hit it and they're like, I don't know what to do with this. And Megan says all the time, everybody wants IPD. Everybody wants Civic, global, whatever. But if we handed you that business today, most of you, it would go completely away because you're not equipped. You didn't work hard enough for it to really understand it. You would take it for granted. Those of us who had to work hard, we don't take anything for granted. We are so, so thankful. Guys, no matter what you want, it is possible. You just have to have a marathon mentality. Push through the hard, do the work day in and day out. Those of you at Civic, don't you sit still, okay? I'm here to celebrate you, but you just getting started. You got to keep working every day. And this summer, Doug is right. It's separation season. Most people, they ready to go to the beach, and here we at the beach. But I'll tell you how many Zooms I've been doing. I'm on this Zoom with you guys. I'm working hard, calling 4 clients today, all the things. So I want you to know.
But what happened to the time freedom that this MLM provides you? Or I thought that was a thing.
This summer, this is where it counts. Those of you on your way to Civic, you can get there by the end of summer. If you work hard, don't play, have fun. but don't use that as an excuse, because so many people use summer as an excuse. But let's do this, guys. Love you all. Thanks so much. And we're going to turn it over to the amazing Hoffmans, who have an amazing person that they're going to have share.
All right. Thank you, Tiffany. I am super excited to introduce our next speaker, Katie Hahn. And she is just like the epitome of everything that everybody's been saying. Pat and Karen talking about who are you when it's quiet. Tiffany talking about grit. Doug talking about showing up for your health. And Katie has done all of those things consistently. And she's going to share a little bit about the story. But the thing I love about her is consistency is her jam. Y'all, she was one client away from hitting FIBC. Not once, not twice, but for months. And she did not let that stop her. She did not get discouraged. Maybe she got a little discouraged, but she didn't let it stop her. She kept going because she knew that it was only a matter of time and she was going to get there. And I'm just super excited to introduce her, because even when she got there, it wasn't all over with, right? Life still happened. Things got crazy. And I can't wait for her to share her story. Katie Hahn, please come on down.
Thank you, Adam, and thank you so much for allowing me to share tonight. I'm really excited for this opportunity. Like Adam said, I spent, I think it was 3 months being one client away with one coach away. So one client, one coach away from being Fibic. And what I learned through those 3 months, the first month I had a pity party. And then after that, I kind of started digging in a little bit. What I learned about that is, I believe, the shifts that I needed to do to become Fibic and to be able to maintain Fibic. So the biggest shift that I found in those months was recognizing that I keep needing to bring on new. I needed to sponsor new coaches.
Another red flag is the amount of turnaround. If it took her months to get, she was one client away. So like, how many times did she have 5 and then 1 dropped off or 2 dropped off? Like, how many times did that happen in order for her to finally make Fibic?
I have an amazing team, and I had an amazing team that first month that I came really close. And even though I was certain that all of my coaches wanted to help at least 5 people as much as I did, I wasn't necessarily working with the right strategic partners because their season wasn't one that would allow them to do that. And so I needed to know what their goals were, and I needed to know where they were in their current season. I needed to know what they wanted out of coaching and help them reach that goal, even if that meant that they weren't going to help 5 people that month. Another shift that I needed to make was to make sure that I was on top of the numbers earlier on in the month. I became really good at looking at numbers in the last week and then helping people try to get that final push to the end, but that's not really all that helpful. It's more helpful to know at the beginning of the month where people are projected, and at the middle of the month who has shifted out already, and just kind of where everyone is. I needed to do a lot more just reaching out to my coaches, especially if I hadn't heard from them for a while. I needed to get better at hopping on those 5-minute phone calls to gauge their energy and gauge that season that they were in. And so some of the things that I learned through this whole process is just like being on the 5 and 1, the formula for reaching Fibic is incredibly simple, but it's not easy getting there. We have to walk through the hard. We have to lean on our mentorship and really follow the people who have been there before us. As Megan says often, we have to do the hard work. We have to look within to see what we need to shift and what we need to grow to help lead others to what they want and what they need. As a full-time school administrator, I was a former band director. This year I made the shift to school administrator. In 2 weeks, I get to make the shift to do this full-time. Thank you, Optavia. Insert income disclosure.
Again, that is not giving the proper income disclosure. Just income disclosure. I'm finally able to leave my job. Income disclosure. You have to physically show it or read it to the individuals watching this and taking in this content right now.
I'm also a figure skating coach. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. And so the consistency took a lot of work with containers. I just marvel when I look back at the last year and some months at the capacity that I have been able to gain and the capacity that is possible through the work we do in this program on our health. It increases our emotional intelligence. It increases our ability to go through things. It's just amazing. And it leaves me speechless. With my schedule, in order to keep that consistency, It needed to be early morning conversations, late night conversations. There were times that I would have to just go to the bathroom and lock myself in a closet at school for a couple minutes just so I could respond to some text messages. Don't tell my principal.
What? I don't know what else to say. Like you were at your place of business where you are getting a guaranteed paycheck being paid hourly. Mind you, teachers do not make enough. You need to make more. If you're a teacher watching this, I apologize for that. But at the same time, you are at your job, hiding in the bathroom to work on your MLM, but it's going to give you time freedom, financial freedom, location freedom, all of those things. Ma'am, I think you've missed a couple things in what you just said. Maybe listen. I feel like these individuals need to listen to what they're actually saying. Like actually sit down and listen, because this is out of control. Like what?
But just finding those white spaces in the day to be able to help others.
And that wasn't a white space. That wasn't a white space. That was a space that was taken up with a block of time for your job.
Reach their goals. 2 years ago, I would have never been here presenting. I am so grateful for this program, and we can really change lives through this. Thank you.
The only time that you'll find me locking myself in the bathroom is to get away from my kids for 5 minutes when my husband gets home.
Way to go, Katie. Oh my gosh, congratulations. That was amazing. Well, hi guys, I am Paige Wilson, and I am absolutely thrilled to introduce our next speaker, who is very near and dear to my heart. So this girl set her sights on Fibic, and nothing was going to stop her. She is crazy busy. She is a mom. She is a wife. She is a business owner. She owns a bed and breakfast that she runs as well. And she travels across the country with her 2 girls who barrel race. Who knew what barrel racing was? She just made a decision, and she made it happen. And it's a combination of just pure grit, hustle, but heart. She is so bold at offering coaching and offering health. And she will speak truth to people no matter what. I mean, she has come so far with her boldness. It is absolutely amazing. She is a sponsoring queen. She runs hip to hip with her coaches to get them to senior coach. And she does it with a wild and crazy life, anywhere that she has to. So Shonda Lee, sir, I am so stinking proud of you. Please come on off mute and share some wisdom with these peeps.
Thank you all so much for asking me to speak tonight. I want to take a quick minute to thank my mentors for believing in me and always pushing me outside my comfort zone, because we know that's where real growth happens. I would like to say that this was my first mastermind. I jumped in there and I did it. I set a goal and I hit it. That was not the case. I was in mastermind last year. I started coaching in 2021 in May. In June, hit executive director and stayed there, just camped out. So when this mastermind started last year, I did get on and watch a little bit of the red carpet. I watched for a few minutes. I'm not going to lie. I logged off. I had a pity party. I was like, I'm never going to make it. Maybe this isn't for me. So this is to everybody on here that did not make it this year. Just know, just because you didn't make it this year does not mean this is not for you. We have purpose. This plan changes lives. It saves lives. Around here, we rodeo. When the girls have a good run, we celebrate. We give them 15 minutes of celebration and then back to work. If they have a bad run, and we give them 15 minutes for the pity party, and then it's back to work. So you see the pattern. If you win or you lose, it's back to work. If that plan didn't work, you get a new plan. You never change the goal. You just get a new plan. So this year I dug in and I was like, what did I not do last year that's holding me back?
What's a great way to encourage burnout in life in general? Like take the time you need to process the things that just happened to you. But they don't want you to do that because you might actually see the MLM for what it is and leave, especially in Optavia, because holy crap, it's toxic. And I'm seeing more and more coaches leave the MLM because they are starting to see all of the red flags and toxic behaviors that it promotes.
Well, what did I do? I leaned into my mentors. Help me. That's what they're there for. They love to see us succeed. So I made some mind shift, some changes. Main thing, offered coaching to every single person from the get-go. I quit deciding who needed coaching. I let them decide. I threw it out there, told them what it did for me and what it could do for them. Also, flipping that deck of cards, always flipping. It doesn't matter how bad you want it for your coaches. They have to want it as well. We guide them, we lead them, but they have to want it. And when you get a good team, it just flows and it will happen. So, talk to everyone, live this out loud. Every single person you meet needs this program in some way or the other.
No, nobody needs this program. Nobody needs the damage that it does to your body or your mind.
Don't ever forget that. And always remember, you have purpose. For years, I felt I didn't have purpose. I was a wife and a mom, business owner. A lot of times there is no red carpet celebration for being a mom and a wife, or not around here. There's not. So when I found this program, it changed my life. Yes, I've lost 100 pounds, but the personal growth and my mentors, the way they pour into me and believe into me, that is what I want to give others. So if I can leave you with anything, it is, you have purpose. Never change the goal, just find a different path. I always feel like my GPS in my head is constantly rerouting, but just know you have a destination and a goal. So if you don't get there, it's not always a straight line. Find a new path, lean into your mentors, and you can be here next year. It is so rewarding to be here and help others. Thank you.
Oh, Shonda, sister, I just love you. Congratulations. Congratulations. I'm Monique and this is Austin Ketron, and we're excited to introduce Micah and Johanna Repke for reaching the rank of FIBIC. And you guys, they are gritty, okay? They have huge hearts and their personal health is always on point. Johanna had baby number 7, okay? And she rocked that pregnancy. And I mean, she looks fantastic postpartum.
Yeah, guys, the Repkes are resilient. They have a lot of day-to-day responsibilities outside of Optavia, and they figure out a way to get it done at a high level. We're so proud of you guys and so excited for what's to come. And I also want to acknowledge their frontline mentor, Coach Jenny Hallman. She's been there with them every step of the way and helped them along this journey.
So congratulations, Repkes. Come on and share.
Hi, guys. We're so glad to be on and celebrate this. Special thanks to Jenny Hallman, our frontline mentor, and our mentors, Austin and Monique, and just the whole team. The team is awesome. We have a lot of fun. We hold each other accountable. We pick each other up. It's really great to do this journey with a great team. So you guys are the best. Thank you to our host, Dan and Megan Valentine. Miss you, Dan, even though you can't pronounce the Ketron's name, but no, that's great. And Tiffany and Andy Howard, thank you guys so much for hosting this and all the trainings you guys do. It's awesome. Joe's the real star in our team, so I'm going to keep it short. Just with all that we have going on, the 7 kids, homeschooling and disabilities, we had to know our goals and we had to get very creative on how to reach those goals. So before COVID, Joe did 90% of the homeschooling, 90% of the meals. Since COVID, I've been working from home. So I'm doing 90% of the homeschooling and 90% of the cooking. And so a little bit of swapping out roles so that we can reach our goals. And I'm going to kick it to Joe.
Yeah. So, oh my goodness, we're just super pumped to be here. And just like Shonda, you said what I was thinking myself with Mastermind of last year. We were on Mastermind last year and we almost weren't if it wasn't for Micah saying, we need to do this Mastermind thing. And I'm like, we do? Because I felt pretty content being at ED. I tried I'd done other businesses and this just felt like the right fit. And we were able to just get into those daily business building actions and God was blessing those efforts. And I was kind of just feeling pretty content, but he's like, no, we need to really ask the Lord what we're supposed to do. Do we need
more faith manipulation
to look at our goal? We need to reevaluate our goal. And I'm going, okay, let's do it. So last year, it's been about 12 months and we had gone, okay, we need to really focus on this as our new goal. And that was hard for me because as like Micah mentioned, we have 7 kids, we homeschool, and one of our kiddos, our 4-year-old, has Down syndrome. And it's just a lot, you know, and I'm trying to figure out how to prioritize those things. And our church has actually started a sermon series. Our pastors are in the middle of a sermon series called Ministry, Welcome to the Mess. And it has just ministered so much to my heart in serving as a Bible believing Christian, but then also as an Optavia coach. It's so tempting to get discouraged on a Thursday when I'm in the middle of client support and servicing our clients, you know, calling them, serving them, talking to them, helping them, listening to their whys. And then Thursday nights, we have our awesome team trainings. And then I fall into bed, pooped, super tired, and wake up at 2 a.m. with our 7-month-old going, oh my goodness, it looks like our house just blew up. And I'm guessing other people can probably identify with that too. And I don't know how many times over the course of the past 15 years, we get to celebrate 15 years of being married, come August of this year. Just how many times we've heard well-meaning people say something like, you know, maybe this isn't your season to be building a business, or maybe it's not your season to be volunteering for this thing that God's put on your heart. And I just want to tell you, if that's you, and if you can identify with that struggle, the messy floors, the bathrooms, the, you know, our front room, our hallway, and just going, oh my goodness, what in the world am I doing? Did I hear God right? God gave you that call. He didn't share that with your circles. He shared it with you. And he is the one that you keep your eyes on. And so that has just been a big encouragement to me. And I think that that's what's changed in the past year, just tuning out some of that extra static, you know, the well-meaning static, and just trusting that we are in this and we are doing what God has called us to do, even if it's messy, even if it's a struggle. And I'm so thankful for our mentor coaches who have just shared their own struggles and just been so real. We have coaches on our team who've also been through a lot of life, long haul COVID. One of our new coaches, her dad received a diagnosis of terminal brain cancer 2 days into her starting on plan. She could have stopped, but she didn't. And she's down 40 pounds as of this past weekend and just doing amazing. So it's just so neat to be able to do this with others. So I just want to encourage you. It's okay to do this messy. We need to do this messy. Thanks, guys.
I love it. Oh my goodness.
It's fantastic.
Messy. You can do it. And so we're so proud of you.
You know, and I'm gonna say something about that. I love how everyone has a word for you, but you have to have a word from him.
That's
And
right.
I'm just gonna say it because that's been part of our battle when we first started. Remember, we were still traveling. We still travel. And in fact, 2019, we traveled 265,000 miles that year and still grew our business. In fact, even tonight, we got out of the car. I was on the phone call with a gentleman who's been on the plan for 5 days. He's so excited. He's a chef. He's from Maine. He weighs over 400 pounds. He cannot wait because he is doing a weigh-in on Friday morning, and he cannot wait to become a coach because he cannot get knee transplants. So he gets down to 300 pounds. And I met him on the road doing ministry. And he's like, I can't wait to hear about coaching. He's already doing, because he has a whole video thing he does on cooking, but he's doing lean and greens now. It's Chef T-Bone is his name. Here's what I'm telling you that, guys. I don't care how big you get or how long you've been doing it. We all still bring on new clients, new coaches, and coach them like we wanted to be coached ourselves. And these folks that we're about to celebrate, they get it. They understand it. In fact, I downloaded an app a minute ago just because it was fun to do it. And this is the cheering app. We're cheering for y'all right now. So everybody get ready because Jeremy's going to bring up a list of names, and let me turn that off. And he's going to bring up a list of names. It didn't go like I thought it would. No, Karen, come on. And she told me not to do it. So we're going to bring up this list of names, and we're going to roll them on the screen. And Karen and I are going to probably butcher your names, but you know what? Y'all butcher Shat's line too.
I'm going to go ahead and cut the names out. They're just reading names off, and I don't feel like that really needs to be in the video. To give you context, they're just reading off the names of the people who hit FIBIC, which is the fully integrated business coach, which again means they coached 5 people, got 5 people to join as coaches, and those 5 coaches coached 5 more people each, from what I understand.
And we're celebrating you big time tonight.
We sure are. And it's been an honor to watch each one of you step into this. And now we get to hear from our leader.
Yes.
Megan, we are so honored to do this with you. Dan, we were praying to get better, brother. I love you. We honor you. Megan Valentine.
Thanks, you guys. What a fun night of celebration. We're going to close and wrap up with this. If you went FIBC in the last couple of months, then we have sent you a little gift. I don't know if it's come yet or not, but it looks something like this. And if you remember, We did some affirmations because a lot of times, right, you have to start believing in who you're becoming so that you'll step in to be that person, right? What is our transformational habit? Number one, we lead from the future and we act in the now. And so I'm going to just read this real quick and then we'll wrap up here. But the quote on the top says this: it's your responsibility to manifest the greatness within you. So here are the things, many of these aren't all of our affirmations, but there are a few, and a lot of them I say every day. I fuel my body and I eat according to my goals. I exercise and grow stronger every day. I am a hope dealer and have a solution for a hurting world and offer it boldly, confidently, and consistently every day. I prioritize personal growth because I know that I am my greatest investment. I am an amazing coach that empowers others to live their best lives, and I lead by example. I am crystal clear on what I want and who I want to become and allow those goals to direct my action every day. I do the hard work and the heart work and make no excuses. I refuse to play small or hide from my full potential. I release any old habits, mindsets, and relationships that are holding me back. Resistance will arise, but I will not quit. Breakthrough is coming for me and everyone coming with me. So, does it not feel good to hear those statements? How many of you have been working on your affirmations and you know there's power when you're speaking those things out, right? And what I love is one of my favorite.
So they send you a plaque with culty word salad.
Quotes by Marianne Williamson. She talks about when we give ourselves permission to shine bright, we give permission for everyone else around us to do it too. It starts by leading ourselves. And so we want to say congratulations to every single one of you that have reached your goal that we celebrated tonight. I love some things that Shonda was saying. Maybe you haven't reached the goal quite yet. And maybe, you know what? It's coming. You are on your way. So thank you for being here. I got like teary-eyed at those last couple of stories because I was just like, I love that we get to be part of such a community. We do not compete. We do not compare. We celebrate. We link arms and say, hey, I'm going. Are you going? Let's go. Are you struggling? Well, I'm going. I'm dropping. Somebody help pick me up. Here we go. And you know what? We are better together. We are better together. So thank you guys for being here. Congratulations to every single one of you. And to those who are streaming online, thanks for being here to celebrate and be part of the party. And just know, we are just getting started. Trust me, Optavia is gaining momentum. We are about to turn a corner and you want to be with us. So excited for you. We believe in you. We love you. Let's all go out and create our very best lives. Are you with me? Yes, yes. All right. If you can come off mute, can you come off mute right now and yell that you're with me? Yes.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Love you guys. Have a great night. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Good night.
Well, that was super problematic and culty in all of the ways. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. As always, thanks for hanging out with me as I talked a bunch of shit, and I will see you in the next one.